All right, I don't know how to put this, but I've just really sucked at golf for the last 9 months. But I think I finally figured out why that is, and I want to share it with you guys. Yeah, with that said, welcome to week 70 of my journey to scratch. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I think it's important to kind of give you guys some insight into my journey thus far, because that's going to explain a lot of things. I really do think I found something that has changed my golf game forever for the better. And it's something that I don't think is talked about enough. Hear about it, but it's really not talked about enough. And I didn't realize it was as accessible as it is. And we'll get to that in a second. But I think it's really important to, and I'm kind of just doing this off the dome. I have some notes here. So I just want to make sure I hit some points. But I think it's important to start out with my journey when I started this channel. So when I started this channel, I think I was an 8.3 handicap. I had just come off playing the best golf of my life that summer. I had broken 80 for the first time and I did it twice. And honestly, I felt like I had sort of hit a ceiling, if you will. Like that was the best I was gonna play with the skills that I had at that time. Everything was pretty average. I was a pretty average putter, pretty average wedge player, pretty average iron player, and pretty average driver of the ball. So when I started this journey, I think the low-hanging fruit was working on my short game and my putting. I think both of those parts of your game are like what save your rounds when you're not feeling the best, when your swing is not feeling the best. So I'm glad that I focused that much time on it. And honestly, I think my putting, especially my lag putting, got significantly better really, really fast. And my short game ended up becoming the best part of my game for a while. One of the first lessons I took with my coach was a driver lesson that really taught me how to get rid of the really, really big far right miss. And quite honestly, it's an amazing lesson that I have on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, I'll link it up here. That really raised the bar in my driving. So if you guys are keeping track, my short game got better, my putting got better, my driving got better, and you would expect my scores to have dropped. In reality, they stayed about the same. They were just more consistent because those three parts of my game were significantly better. But my approach game actually got worse. I think I started this journey with like 45% greens in regulation. For a long time, that number was actually close to like 35%. I was hitting like 6-7 greens in regulation a round. It's impossible to score when you're missing that many greens, right? You're not going to have that many birdie opportunities, and you have to scramble your butt off just to say par. Obviously, like I'm seeing this, and I focus all of my energy and effort into my golf swing. And in my mind, I was like, the better my swing gets, the better my approach game is going to get. Focused all this energy into it, and it wasn't getting any better. If anything, it was getting worse. And that's nothing on the instruction. It was just how I was. But everybody tells you, it will get worse before you get better. So I just kept kind of going down this rabbit hole and expecting one day it's just going to miraculously get better, and that never happened. But it was fine, right? Because I was still scoring okay, because every other part of my game was saving me. And if you don't believe me, like, let me link, and I remember this video specifically, it was when my car got stolen. Around this time, I was shooting really good rounds of golf while missing a ton of greens. Like I think in this specific video that I'm thinking about, which I'll link right here, I just feel like there's no way, but I think I hit one green in like 9 holes. And that's how I got used to playing that way, and I got used to scoring that way. I could get up and down from literally everywhere. Like put me around the green and I'm making par. That type of game is just not sustainable. Around November of last year, I got a membership at the Golf Suite, which I still use to this day. You guys have seen it on the channel. It's essentially a little simulator room that gave me a ton of access to numbers, which you would think is a good thing, but I started becoming obsessed with the numbers, and right around that time is when I lost my driver. And I think the reason why is because I was so obsessed with coming into out with my driver that I never felt comfortable with it ever again. And I kind of went down the same rabbit hole. So then I started taking more lessons specifically on the driver, and my driver just continued to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Even though I know I'm hitting, like I'm learning a lot. Like I know I'm hitting shots that I've never been able to hit before. You guys saw it. Like you guys have seen all these videos where like I'm getting better. Like you can tell like my swing's getting better, but I couldn't translate it to the golf course. I lose my driver. Now I'm losing tons of shots off the tee. And then if I do hit a fairway, I can't hit a green. So my scores just skyrocket. I blamed my wedding. I just kept saying, oh, I don't have time to practice, and that's why I'm not playing good. And well, the wedding comes and goes, and now I have more time to practice, and I'm still not playing good. And I got to the point where like I was thinking about quitting, and not just YouTube. Like I'm thinking about quitting golf. But a couple of weeks ago, I had an epiphany, and I guys, I don't know where this came from. I don't know if this was like a sign from God. I remembered that I had heard on a podcast a long time ago. I don't know which podcast it was. I don't know how long ago it was, that there was like a golf personality test that you could take. And this intrigued me because in my corporate job, we take a similar test. And I'm kind of an oddball. So like I'm naturally introverted, even though everybody thinks I'm extroverted because I'm really social and outgoing. But I'm naturally introverted. I also really, really like structure, but I'm a very creative person. And I figured that there may be some similarities if I was to take a test like that with golf. And I take the test and I'm like really intrigued. I get the results and I'm like, okay, this is describing me to a T, and I'm getting really, really excited. And so I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I have this golf YouTube channel. I'm really struggling with my game right now. Like I would love to just sit down and talk. And me and John sat for 30 minutes. But yeah, it was just, it was fascinating. You know, I told John what my mental golf type was, and it was like he knew exactly the things that made me better.
You need to have that structure, but you do lend to creativity at times. And you're going to do better with a lot bigger targets and playing to zones too, because that's going to free you up mechanically. But it's like when you're going against your cognitive functions. So now you're employing, we have two types. You could be intuitive or you could be sensor. That's more detailed, linear, more step by step. And when you get like that, that's actually more of a sign that your brain's secreting cortisol of some level. It's mental stress and performance. So, what does that mean to your golf swing? Well, you now have cortisol releasing in your motor cortex, it's clamping down, and movement is changing. So, if you're just a little stressed, it might just be a block. If you're really stressed, it might be like a big snap hook. It might be something you haven't even seen, right? And that's the effects of some of those subtle stressors. So, simply changing that little shift, your brain relaxes. Now you get better golf swing because your
Wow.
motor cortex is free to move. So how we really help people is, one, we're going to teach you to detect your subtle stressors, or when you're starting to go against what your natural wiring or your natural gifts are. It's like signing your name right-handed, easy, really good result. Put it in your other hand, more work, mediocre result.
Why I think this is so important to me, and why I think this has just changed my mentality going forward and my plan going forward, not only with my golf game but with this channel, is the two middle characters, the two middle letters. The first one is I'm an intuitive. And what that means is that I like to see the big picture. I can't get stuck. I can't get tied down to the specifics. I can't get tied down to the mechanics. When I get tied down to the mechanics, I choke up. And I need to be able to be creative. I need to imagine my shot. I haven't been doing that. I've been doing the complete opposite of that. I've been so obsessed with my golf swing, so obsessed with hitting a push draw. This push draw to come in 5 degrees from the inside, and you know, dropping my hands and feeling like I'm hitting my right thigh and closing the face and swinging fast and straightening my left leg, that it just made me so stressed on the golf course that I just produced the worst shots and the worst swings that I've ever produced in my time playing. And it just felt so stressful to play the way that I was playing. I was so stuck in my swing. So yeah, as an intuitive, really I should be focusing 80% of my energy when I'm standing over the ball on the target, on my imagination. And I really don't like a specific target. I like kind of like imagine like a field goal, like a range. I really like ranges because they don't stress me out. Like I can be a little bit off and still be okay, and that kind of calms me down a little bit. Yeah, that's the first one. And the second one's a feeler. And the feeler portion of it is I got to trust my gut. You know, what do I think is going to be the best outcome, even if it goes against what you technically should do, right? Like, so yeah, so just kind of just super eye opening. I took the first course and I played golf that same day. And guys, this is the most fun and stress-free round of golf that I've had in like 9 months. I got home and I was just like, I was so excited. I was so happy because I felt like just that round allowed me to remember what it was like to really enjoy golf again. It wasn't anything crazy. I shot an 83, but it's the first time I felt comfortable with an 83 in a long time. And it was incredible. I mean, it was like I was seeing the shot shape. That's all I was thinking about. It's just like, okay, let's figure out what type of shot shape we're trying to hit. And that's all I'm thinking about. And I'm hitting them. And like, I'm talking high cuts, I'm talking high draws. Like, having the options just freed me up so much. It was just, it was honestly incredible. But yeah, guys, I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling on at this point. I don't know how long this video is going to be, how long it's been. The good news is that I'm going to start posting again. Like, I'm really committing myself to posting every single week from here on out. And the content's going to be different and it's going to be really exciting. I'm really pumped with the direction that this channel is about to take. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy the content. It's going to be a lot more playing, a lot less instructional. I know a lot of you guys love the instructional stuff, but it's not what I need. I need to play more, and I have a feeling that the more I play, the better I'm going to get, and the better scores I'm going to shoot, and the lower my handicap's going to get, and the more I'm going to enjoy the game, and the more you guys are going to enjoy the content. And hopefully, as we're getting better, we can learn together, and I can share some of the things that I'm doing to get better, and that sort of stuff. So I love you guys so much. I'm sorry for rambling on forever and ever, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out Mental Golf Type. It is the coolest, like, most eye-opening thing. I'm just so grateful to have found it. I don't know if I could have done this much longer if I hadn't found it. And if you're struggling, like I said, this makes you more consistent. It's not necessarily going to make you like it's going to make you your best, but your best is a ceiling depending on your skill level. So just keep that in mind. But like, you're going to be shooting your best more often because you're going to be swinging more freely depending on your golf type. And that's the whole concept around it. Guys, it's not cheap. Like, I think it's $200 for the level 1 concepts. It's worth every penny. I would have paid triple the price to get out of the slump that I was in. So if you're like me, you've played better golf before and you're in a bit of a slump, like, give this a go. I think it's really, really, really going to help you. But yeah, guys, like I said, it's down below, link down below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to post them on here. I'm going to share this with the guys that wear a Mental Golf Type, so they might be kind of going through the comment section as well to respond to some of your questions, or I can forward them along to them as well. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Sorry I've been gone for so long, but I've been in shambles, but I'm back, baby. Let's go.